I'm just about done editing the June 14 my dinner video in Camtasia 2019. I recall starting to edit the June 14 my dinner video not too long after the June 13 my dinner video finished uploading to my YouTube channel. Sometime between 7 and 8 in the morning. I've spent much of today editing the June 14 my dinner video since. As before, I started editing, I recall the raw video project with the photo part and the raw video clips. The video project was around 28 minutes on the Camtasia 2019 studio timeline. I finished reviewing the video and audio of that video project throughout the mid-evening to early night hours. Cutting the video project down to 26 minutes and 42 seconds. I recall by 11:30 in the morning, having reviewed roughly a little over half of the video project file. Having reviewed 15 minutes of the timeline. And by that point, I had removed around 40 seconds of video. By splitting to isolate the parts I wanted to remove. Deleting those parts and then moving the video footage back until the gap left by the deleted isolated video clip was filled in, and there was no longer a gap within the Camtasia 2019 studio timeline. It was around 11:30 in the morning that I decided to go to bed, setting an alarm for 5:30 p.m. on my laptop through a third-party website. And by that point, I had added a few footnotes to points on the video clips of the Camtasia 2019 studio timeline for that video project file, where I felt either a clarification or some extra information was needed. My dad woke me up around 5 p.m. And initially, I considered just staying home at my dad's place, as I wanted to resume working on editing the June 14 My Dinner video in Camtasia 2019, so that I could then finish editing the June 14 My Dinner video today, upload the rendered video to my YouTube channel, and then delete the Camtasia 2019 rendered video project file and the photos and raw video clips for that day. So that I could then work on editing the next 3 days, my dinner video projects. I had imported the photos and raw video clips onto my laptop from my phone via using my phone charger as a tether after removing the charger adapter from one end of it. The larger end, as the smaller end doesn't take any adapter, as the smaller end is used to connect to a port on my laptop. And that's how I'm able to use my phone charger as a tether to import photos and videos on my laptop. Ultimately, I want to catch up on the backlog of my dinner videos. But ultimately, I changed my mind within about a minute and decided to go with my dad to Romigs Tavern. And we ended up leaving around 5:15 p.m. I recall we were there roughly from 5:30 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. During which time a female friend of my dad joined us. The one we historically see most often. I had just one alcoholic beverage, in this case, a pint of 1911 hard cider in a glass. It's called a pint, but it's in a glass of standard size. Whenever I see it on the tap menu for the brew, it's always listed Ask Server. I never ask them. Though based off the taste, I assume it's the original brew every time. With that alcoholic beverage, I had an order of 16 hot honey chicken wings. Both my dad and the female friend of his had a sandwich, and it came with a choice of side. In this case, my dad opted for onion rings, and the female friend opted for tater tots. And they kindly shared some with me. And it's not in the photo part, but shortly after I took that photo, my dad offered me some ketchup. I accepted. And he gave me some ketchup. I dipped just about everything. I recall at one point dipping a stick of celery in ketchup and one of the onion rings my dad gave me in blue cheese. I like blue cheese dip, but I don't like blue cheese itself. Blue cheese dip tends to not have the flavor that blue cheese itself has. In the case of blue cheese dip, the taste tends to be pretty similar to ranch. The taste isn't the same as ranch, but it's similar. And the texture is a little bit different, but even so, I like blue cheese dip. Of the 8 chicken wings, I gnawed down to the cartilage and then some a little bit. I didn't dip one of them once into the blue cheese dip, as I felt doing so was not necessary and would more than likely ruin the hot honey sauce. After I finished sipping at the pint of 1911 hard cider, I had 1 glass of iced water. Before me and Dad headed back to my dad's place. I recall having roughly 2 full cups of plain coffee during the early night hours, from when my dad offered to make a pot of coffee at that time if I wanted to have some coffee then, and I accepted. With the sleep schedule I'm currently on, it wouldn't really matter whether or not I had coffee during the night. I recall having 2 full cups of plain coffee and a partial third cup that was essentially a splash of plain coffee, roughly from 8:45 in the morning to about 10:15 in the morning, of which I had with my first cup for that time period an apple turnover that was part of a 4-pack my dad got during the morning hours from his local Walmart. I recall that apple turnover being mild and enjoyable. Earlier, I already rendered a rough draft, but I decided that for one of the footnotes, Cajun should be capitalized based on a bit of research I did on my phone, so I'm gonna fix that, and then hopefully that second draft will be the last draft before I feel everything's correct.